In hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in fourth place in the Central Division after 34 games skated. It is time for the Christmas break. The Nashville Predators have a record of 19-15-0. 38 points has them 6 points behind the first place Dallas Stars. Their next game, which will take place after Christmas, will take place at Bridgestone Arena on home ice. They have a record of 11-8-0. They've scored 107 goals in the season. They've given up 104. There's a goal differential of +3. Central Division latest standings going into the Christmas break. The Dallas Stars in first place with a record of 28-4. They have 44 points. They are tied in points with the Colorado Avalanche, who have a record of 21-11-2, but have played in 2 more games than the Dallas Stars. So the Stars hold the tiebreaker there. The Winnipeg Jets are just 1 point behind first place at 43. They have a record of 29-3. Then you'll find the Predators at 38 points in fourth place. The Arizona Coyotes are in fifth place at 36 points. The St. Louis Blues in sixth place at 35 points. The Minnesota Wild in seventh place with 34 points. So 10 points separates first place from seventh place in the Central Division. Chicago Blackhawks are the only team pretty much out of it by Christmas. 21 points on the season after 33 games skated. Their record is 10-22-1. Now, I mentioned the Nashville Predators' next game will take place on home ice after the Christmas break. It will be against the Carolina Hurricanes. It'll be the second of 2 regular season meetings against the Carolina Hurricanes. After the Preds finish up this game against the Canes, it's off onto the road Friday at Detroit. First game of the season against the Preds and the Red Wings. And Saturday, close out the regular season series against the Washington Capitals in Washington. So, Preds will close out the year 2023 with another back-to-back here in December. Both of these games taking place on the road. They'll open up the 2024 portion of the calendar on home ice on the 2nd of January versus Chicago Blackhawks, and on the 4th versus Calgary Flames. And on the 6th of January, the Predators will be in Dallas to face off against the Dallas Stars again. Now, first regular season meeting between the Preds and the Carolina Hurricanes. Well, you don't have to recall that far. It happened just a week ago. On the 15th of December, it was Nashville Predators defeating the Carolina Hurricanes in Carolina 6-5. That took place in overtime is when that victory took place. Lankinen picked up the victory, going 26 out of 31. Not your traditional stat line for a winning goaltender. Yossi, a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. O'Reilly, a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. Forsberg, overtime game-winning goal plus an assist for 2 points. Parson, a goal and assist for 2 points. And the Preds were down 4-2 and down 5-3 in this incredibly wild regular season game. Absolutely the wildest regular season game the Nashville Predators have had to this point in time. Now, the Canes, one of the Eastern Conference's favorites, and a lot of pundits and analysts' favorites to perhaps come out of the East and go to the Stanley Cup Final this year. 17-13-4 at this point in the season. 38 points and 5th in the Metro is not exactly what most people were imagining at this moment in time. The Preds and the Canes have the same number of points, and that is dramatically different. What people were expecting for the Canes and expecting for the Preds, you would have to say the Preds are in a pretty good place because no one expected the Nashville Predators to have the same number of points as the Carolina Hurricanes going into the Christmas break, or that the Canes would be in 5th place in the Metro. On the road, the Canes have a record of 8-10-1, which is where the next game will take place at Bridgestone Arena. Goals for 111, goals against 110, goal differential +1 for Carolina. Let's go back and take a look at their most recent stretch of hockey. Let's talk about their previous 5. It was back on December the 15th. We've already talked about this game, 6-5 overtime loss versus the Nashville Predators on home ice. Followed that up on the 17th of December with a 2-1 shootout loss versus the Washington Capitals. On the 19th of December, 6-3 win versus the Vegas Golden Knights. On the 21st of December, 2-1 shootout loss at the Pittsburgh Penguins. And their most recent game closing out the Christmas break, a 5-4 loss versus the New York Islanders. Kochetkov took the loss, 23 out of 28 in that game. Taking a look inside the numbers in the NHL rankings between these two teams, and they are actually quite similar in quite a few statistical metrics. Let's start in the goals for category, and this is pretty interesting. The Carolina Hurricanes, 3.24 goals per game, is 14th best in the NHL. But the Preds just behind them at 3.12. That's 16th best overall in the NHL. In the goals against category, the Nashville Predators 3.06 per game given up is 13th best overall in the NHL, while Carolina's giving up 3.18 per game. That is 17th best in the NHL. In the shots for category, you will find a disparity here. The Nashville Predators only generating 29.8. This has been a sinking number for weeks now. down to 25th overall in the league, while the Carolina Hurricanes continue to surge in the shots for category. 33.9 per game is third best overall in the NHL. In the shots against category, you'll find another big disparity. The shots against for the Nashville Predators, 31 per game is 20th, while the Carolina Hurricanes only giving up 25.6 shots against per game. That is number one overall in the National Hockey League. The power play for the Nashville Predators is 19th rated in the NHL. 20.5% is their conversion rate. 25 out of 122 opportunities is their raw data. 24.4% is the conversion rate for the Carolina Hurricanes. That is 8th best in the NHL. 28 out of 115 opportunities. On the PK, the Carolina Hurricanes also are favored in this metric. The 8th best penalty kill in the league, killing off 82.7%, only giving up 19 power play goals against on the season. When it comes to the penalty kill for the Nashville Predators, 24th overall in the NHL League, giving up 25 power play goals against the season. Their kill rate is 77.3%. Let's talk about the top scores on each of these teams. The top individual scores for the Carolina Hurricanes, and a lot of these players typically do quite good against the Nashville Predators. Aho is at 13 goals and 18 assists for 31 points on the season. Netsch is at 9 and 16 for 25. Jarvis, 11 goals and 13 assists for 24 points. Bunting, 7 goals, 16 assists, 23 points. And Teravainen, 13 and 8 for 21 overall on the season. Nashville Predators leading scorers, Philip Forsberg, 16 goals, 22 assists for 38 points at the Christmas break. Ryan O'Reilly, second on the team in scoring, 13 goals and 14 assists for 27 points. The captain, Roman Josi's at 7 and 24, 27. I remember when Roman Josi only had a couple of points after about a dozen games, and people were starting to get a little bit nervous. Right there now at 27 points here at the Christmas break. Nyquist, 5 and 17 for 22. Sissons, a highly improbable number 5 overall on the team and scoring 11 goals and 8 assists for 19 points. Anticipated goaltender matchup sees UZ Saros getting started on home ice, coming out of the Christmas break with a record of 15, 12, and 0, and 909 save percentage of 2.82 goals against average and 1 shutout on the season. Kochetkov, who just picked up the loss their most recent game against the Islanders, is a record of 7-7 and 3, 894 save percentage, 2.69 goals against average, also 1 shutout on the season. Antti Raanta got the start against the Predators the last time, took the loss. He is no longer on the Carolina Hurricanes roster. He was put on waivers after that game against the Nashville Predators. That's got you all set up for the Nashville Predators and the Carolina Hurricanes coming out of the Christmas break. Exciting matchup right here, interconference matchup. The Preds and the Carolina Hurricanes had an incredibly exciting game back on December the 15th. I expect another really good and exciting game at Bridgestone Arena. These two teams have really gotten after each other in recent years, and you can definitely see the fan bases intermingling and traveling back and forth on I-40, going back and forth to these games. It's been a lot of fun with this rivalry over the last half dozen years or so. That's got you set for the Preds at the Canes. They'll close out the regular season series with Carolina coming out of the Christmas break and coming up here in just a couple of days on Wednesday. Then Friday, off to Detroit. Now we're going to get to the Reverse Sports full game recap. We got to go back and find out what happened between the Nashville Predators and the Dallas Stars at Bridgestone Arena. That's coming up next on the Reverse Sports Renegades of Puck podcast. That's us.
Hockey